Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into Joe Pertz Field here in Billings, Montana for the 2024 Great Northwest Athletic Conference Baseball Championships. Glad to have you along for Game 1 of what will be a three-game Friday here in the Magic City as the number 2 seed Western Oregon Wolves will take on the number 3 seeded Central Washington Wildcats to begin our tournament. This is going to be a 3-team tourney, so the way this will be set up, it'll be 3 games today, a round-robin format to start this GNAC Championships. So all 3 teams playing each other at some point today, and in the one team sitting out to begin things. And then depending on how things pan out here today will determine how the schedule goes for Saturday as we try to decide a 2024 GNAC champion. Western Oregon has taken to the field as it's been a wet week, but fortunately weather has finally let up so we can get some baseball in on this Friday afternoon. It's going to be Jacob Memmott that gets the start in game number 1 for the Wolves. They come into today 27-19, their overall record, 21 wins, 11 losses in GNAC play for this afternoon. They put the right-hander Memmott on the hill with a 5-2 record, 3.93 ERA. Defensively, he's backed up today by his battery mate, Colin Irwin. It's going to be John Olison at first, Zach Valdez at second, Justin Herzog plays short. Emiliano Alarcon will finish out the infield at third base. Left to right in the Western Oregon outfield, it's Kern Mitzel, Owen Bischoff, and Randy Stoltz. Central Washington is going to start things off with Marcus Manzardo, second baseman, to lead things off as we get going with the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships. Facing his first man, Memmett's going to go from a stretch. First pitch on the way, Manzardo takes it for called strike number 1, and we are a go here at 12:05 p.m. in Billings. Western Oregon, the designated home team for this neutral site game. 0-1 pitch for Manzardo. Swing and a miss for Manzardo makes it a 0-2 count. Unfortunately, not able to bring you the video stream today. We hope to have that back tomorrow afternoon as we did have to pivot locations. Original plan was to play at Dealer Park, the home of Montana State Billings Yellow Jackets. But May 8th was the wettest on record for that day here in the city of Billings. So Dealer Park out for day number 1 of this tourney. And Joe Pertz Field, his new spot for the facility that we'll be playing at today. A little pause here with the 0-2 count on Marcus Manzardo to get things started, as it looks like there is an issue with the turf mound. Looks like some of the turf is coming up. So a few of the officials gathering as well as the infield of Western Oregon. Check out what exactly is going on. So it's a landing spot on the turf, and it looks like it is not secure to the mound itself. So Jacob Memmott puts the brakes on things after just 2 pitches, and they're going to see if something can be done about this mound. So while they check things out with this turf infield, as Pertz Field is an infield of turf, natural grass in the outfield, and that is why we were not able to play yesterday, is it was a lot of standing water on this grass outfield and then on the warning track as well. Unfortunately, we're going to have some good weather for these next couple of days. High 60s, might touch 70 here today, and then we're getting up to 77 tomorrow. So it'll be a beautiful couple of days for baseball here in Billings after a couple of very, very wet ones here in Montana. Not sure exactly what the fix could be. So the situation, we're still here on batter number 1 of this ball game. Top of the first inning, 0-2 count on Marcus Manzardo. And the right-handed starting pitcher for Western Oregon, Jacob Memmott, asking for the field crew to come take a look at the mound, as it is a turf mound and the landing spot pretty worn out from all the games that have been played here at Pertz, and that turf has separated from the mound itself. As you can imagine, that would be a bit of a safety issue. Your plant foot hits the turf and it goes sliding. A lot of things could happen here. So understandably, we want to make sure we get that fixed before we get back to baseball action. Taking a look down the Central Washington lineup, we've got Manzardo at the plate. He's leading things off and playing second base. Baba Varner's going to hit in the 2 spot. He's in right. Austin Olin, with his .348 average, will catch and hit third. Cleaning up for the Wildcats, it's the 2024 GNAC Player of the Year, Ben Lead, left fielder, hitting .428 on the season, and just a couple days ago was named the Player of the Year. So big congratulations to him. Andrew Sharp in the 5 spot, playing first. Ryan McCarthy will DH and hit 6. 7-8-9 is Jake Felton in center, Brady Hinkle at third, and the shortstop hitting in the 9th spot, Jake Madsen. Central Washington is going to be throwing Jonathan Garza the second today, so a couple of right-handers getting the nod for the Game 1 start for Western Oregon and Central Washington. Format of this one, again, it's round robin for day 1, so each team will play 2 games. If we have a team that goes 2-0 and a team that goes 0-2, then that 0-2 team will be eliminated. Tomorrow we will just have a best-of-2 series between the 2-0 and the 1-1 team. If all 3 of these teams go 1-1, then we're going to revert to Northwest Nazarene getting the benefit of the doubt. They get the number 1 seed coming into the tourney, so then they would await the winner of Western Oregon and Central Washington, and then the winner of that final game between NNU and whoever wins the 2-3 matchup would be crowned GNAC champion. So a couple of different scenarios to think about for scheduling for tomorrow. A lot of things could happen. Well, it looks like it might be a minute or 2 here before we get back to action. We do have the field crew doing some repairs to the mound right now. We're going to take an opportunity to step away for just a second. Make sure to stick with us. This stream is going to stay live this entire game. There may be a few moments in between innings where we do mute and have a little bit of silence, but promise we're going to stick with you for the entirety of this one. So we're still here in the top of the first, no score. First batter of the ball game, and repair to the mound underway right now. We're going to step away. We'll be right back with more here on GNAC.TV. Still on a bit of a maintenance delay here in Billings. Thanks for being patient with us as we try to get back to baseball action. For those that have joined us late, we're in the top of the first inning. And just 2 pitches into this game, we're having some turf separate from the mound, as this is a turf infield here at Perts Field. So we do have the staff on the field working on that, and we have stepped away for just a moment. So nothing wrong with the broadcast, just a long break as the field staff works on getting this mound back to usable. So we'll step away again. It's an 0-2 count in the first at-bat of the ballgame. Marcus Monzardo waiting to resume his at-bat, and Jacob Mehmet, naturally is going to get some time to warm back up once we get back to action. It's been about 10 minutes since first pitch as we got this game going at 12:05 Mountain Time, and hoping to get back to things soon. So stick with us. We're going to step away again, but we will get back to baseball action just as soon as we can. Still in a maintenance delay here in Billings. Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. Appreciate your patience as we try to get back to baseball action. We do have a crew on the field getting things set, and it looks like we're pretty close. Jacob Memmott has thrown a couple of practice pitches to see if the turf has finally been secured. If you missed it, we got 2 pitches into the game. Turf started to separate from the mound. Starting pitcher Jacob Memmott for Western Oregon called out the officials, and the grounds crew, they take a look, and the turf was coming up from the mound just like it was a rug. So I had to get that secured, and it looks like we are finally back to action. So when it's all said and done, this is going to be about a 15, 16-minute delay. This game started at 12:05. That second pitch thrown right around the 12:06 mark, and we got 12:20 local time currently here in Billings. So Jacob Memmott will take the next couple of minutes to get some warm-up pitches in and get back to action. Has certainly been an odd way to start the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships. So when we do get back to it, and it looks like we're ready to go, Marcus Manzardo is going to step back into the left-handed batter's box in an 0-2 count. So we hit 12:21. Book it as a 15-minute delay to start this game here in Billings. Memmett's 0-2. Fouled off on the right side by Manzardo, and remains no balls and 2 strikes. Jacob Memmott, 6'5", junior out of Central Point, Oregon, attended Crater High School before coming to play for the Wolves in Monmouth. 0-2 from Manzardo, misses low and inside, bounces in the turf. 1 ball and 2 strikes account. He enters this game 5 wins, 2 losses on the year, 3.93 earned run average. Memmott from a stretch. Here's a 1-2 from Manzardo. Misses inside. He's going to even the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Officiating crew for this ball game. Behind the plate, it's Kevin Rice. Stu Bertrand takes duties as the ump at first. It's Mark Heavey at second, and Ken Diber at third. 2-2 from Memmott will miss. The count is now full. So we go from an 0-2 spot, Manzardo being patient, and is able to get it to 3-2. 3-2 pitch. Flown down the left field line. Mitchell on the run in fair territory is able to get underneath and make the catch for out number 1. 1 down here in the top of the first inning. No score. Number 2 Western Oregon versus the number 3 seed Central Washington in the first of what will be a 3-game Friday here in the GNAC Championships. That brings up Baba Varner, 1 out and nobody aboard. First pitch for Varner. Down the chute, called strike number 1 as he watches it go by. Again, the defensive setup for Western Oregon. Memmott on the mound. Colin Irwin behind the plate. Olison's at first. Zach Valdez at second. Herzog at short. Alarcon at third base. 0-1 fouled off by Varner. The Wolves' outfield is Mitchell in left, Bischoff in center, and Stoltz in right. Central Washington lineup, we saw Manzardo lead off and fly out to left. Varner at the plate now in an 0-2 count. Here's the 0-2 from Memmott. Breaking ball misses outside, 1-2. Olin hits third, lead in the 4 spot. Sharp, McCarthy, Felton, Hinkle, and Madsen the rest of the way down. And whenever we get to the bottom of 1, we're going to see Jonathan Garza II get the start on the mound for the Wildcats. 1-2 pitch. Outside again. Varner able to lay off 2 balls and 2 strikes. So after getting him 0-2, Memmott has worked away from him twice, and Baba Varner not willing to chase either of those. 1 out and the base is empty. 2-2. Fastball. Fly ball to right field. Couple steps back for Stoltz. This one carrying back to the wall, and it's going to sneak out of here. The way Stoltz played it back didn't look like it would have the legs, but it is a 1-out solo home run from Baba Varner Jr., his 4th home run of the season, and Central Washington will take a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning. Very little wind here in Billings today, but it is carrying out to aid the hitters in this ball game. And I think that one snuck up on everybody, as it looked like Randy Stoltz had a beat on it. First pitch for Austin Olin is flown to left field. This one back towards the wall, and it's going to be back-to-back homers. Well, a high fly ball apparently is just going to carry. The first pitch of his at-bat, Austin Olin takes one deep to left for his 7th home run of the season. And not only in consecutive at-bats, but now consecutive pitches for Central Washington. They get solo homers, make it 2-0 the score. Wildcats on top. What an odd start to this game it has been. We get 2 pitches in, have a 15-minute delay. Here's Ben Lead. He'll take a breaking ball outside for ball number 1. Baba Varner homers in the second at-bat of the game, and before we even have a chance to introduce him, Austin Olin takes it over the left field fence. So 2-0 our score, Central Washington leading. And here's the bat to watch in this tournament. This is Ben Lead, the GNAC Player of the Year, at the plate for the Wildcats. 1 out and the base is empty, 2-0 pitch. Takes a fastball down the middle for a called strike, 2-1. Lead, a .428 hitter. 13 doubles, 8 home runs, and 44 runs batted in this season. 2-1, chops it down the third baseline. It's going to stay fair. Backhanded by Al Arcon. Throw to first. It's going to be well late, as Lead will leg it out for an infield single, and that's now 3 consecutive hits for Central Washington. After a Manzardo fly out to left to start the game, it's been a Baba Varner solo shot to right. Austin Olin follows up with a homer to left. And Ben Lead, an infield single, now puts him at first with 1 out. Andrew Sharp is the 5th batter of the inning. Neither of these teams have won a neutral site game this season, as Central Washington 0-2 in neutral site games, as is Western Oregon. First pitch, Andrew Sharp takes for a ball. Left-handed hitting first baseman. Pickoff move over to first, not going to be in time as Lead slides back in safely. Dimensions here at Perts Field, 320 down both the left and right field lines. 1-0 pitch for Sharp, driven towards the right center field gap. That's down for a base hit. Lead's going to be held up at second, so he'll hold there. It's a single for Sharp. That's now 4 straight hits for the Wildcats. And it's just a gauntlet, the top of the Central Washington lineup. First 5 hitters for the Wildcats hitting .342 or better. 6 of their first 7 hitting over .300. Very difficult to navigate this Wildcat lineup. Not a lot of spots where you're going to have a chance to find an easy out. Central Washington's offense this year has been the best in the conference. .305 their team average on the season. That is tops in the GNAC. Haven't been hitting for as much power, though. .412 slugging percentage is only good for 3rd of the 5 teams in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference. So we do get a quick meeting on the mound for Jacob Mehmet, as he has given up 4 straight hits, including 2 homers. Situation 2 on and 1 out. The batter now, Ryan McCarthy. Another lefty for the Wildcats. Awaits his first pitch. Flies it foul, left side, and out of play. It's going to be an 0-1 count. McCarthy taking designated hitting duties today. He's got Andrew Sharp on first, Ben Lead on second after back-to-back singles from them. That followed the consecutive solo home runs from Varner and Oland. 2-0 Wildcats were still in the top of 1. Now 25 minutes since this game got going. 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Taken by McCarthy for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Central Washington wearing the maroon jerseys today. Western Oregon going with black jerseys, pinstriped white pants. 2 on, 1 out. Here's the 1-1. Lays off, but that falls in for a strike. Started up around the shoulders of McCarthy, but good dip there at the end. That just catches the top of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. GNAC championships were originally slated to be Thursday and Friday. So this would have been day 2 of the tourney. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss by McCarthy. And a big strikeout there for Jacob Mehmet. Certainly needed that one for a second out as he tries to stop the bleeding. That ends the streak at 4 consecutive base hits for the Wildcats. Here's Jake Felton. He is the 7th batter of the inning. We'll try and keep the offensive production going for the Wildcats. 2 on, 2 outs, and a 2-0 lead for Central Washington. First pitch. Another off-speed. Drops in for a strike on Felton. .313 hitter. Felton playing center field today. No one holding either runner on as the first baseman Olesen playing back. 0-1. There's a slider in the dirt, but Felton goes chasing. Swings and misses for strike number 2. And now Mehmet a pitch away from getting himself out of a jam. Wildcats starting this game exactly how they wanted. Get a couple of early runs, and Jonathan Garza will have some breathing room before he even touches the mound. 0-2 pitch. That'll miss high on a fastball. 1-2. Sharp at first, lead at second. 2 away. 1 ball, 2 strike count for Jake Felton. Mehmet's pitch. Fouls it off the end. Felton got out in front, but slowed down the bat just enough. Tip that one foul. Winner of this GNAC championship will have an automatic qualification into the NCAA West Regional Tournament. 1-2 pitch. Off speed, misses up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So we got deuces on the scoreboard. 2-2 count, 2 away, 2 on. It's been a 4-hit inning for the Wildcats. Can Mehmet get out of it? His 2-2 pitch. Up and in again, and another full count. Well, Mehmet certainly has really had to tax the arm here in the first. He's gotten himself into multiple full count situations. Takes a look at second and walks lead back into the bag. Runners will be taken off on the kick here as we've got a 2-out full count scenario. This is going to be pitch number 24 of the inning. Payoff pitch. Flown into shallow left field, backing up on it. The shortstop, Herzog, calls for it, and he is able to reach up and make the catch. And that'll bring the inning to an end, but not before Central Washington gets 2 runs on the power of 4 hits. They leave 2 on base. Home runs from Baba Varner and Austin Olin get things going for the Wildcats. As we go to the bottom of the first, Central Washington 2, Western Oregon 0 here on GNAC.TV. Jacob Memmott forced to throw 30 pitches in the first inning as Central Washington homers twice. Baba Varner and Austin Olin each with solo shots, and it is a Wildcats 2-0 lead going to the bottom of the first inning. It'll be Jonathan Garza II that gets the start on the bump for the Wildcats. 3-4 record and a 3.74 ERA this year for the right-hander. First batter he faces is Curran Mitzel. Left-handed hitting left fielder awaits pitch number 1 from a windup. It's on the way, missing up around the shoulders for ball number 1. So now 30 minutes after we got this game going, the Wolves finally getting their first shot at the plate. 1-0 pitch for Mitzel, fouled away to even it at 1 ball and 1 strike. Mitchell hitting .310 on the season. Able to tack 7 doubles, 5 triples, and 4 home runs on the board. There's a missed 2-1 now, the count. Defensive setup for Central Washington. Garza is going to be backed up by Austin Oland. His catcher, Andrew Sharp, plays first. Marcus Manzardo's at second. Here's the 2-1. Lifted into right center field. That's going to get down into the gap, and it'll be extra bases for Mitzel. Mitzel takes a turnaround second, holds up there. Had a chance at 3 as Jake Felton mishandled it briefly on the warning track, but Mitzel does hold up at second for a leadoff double. So immediately a man into scoring position for the Wolves. And here comes a stalwart of this Western Oregon lineup, their shortstop, Justin Herzog. Left-handed hitting Herzog, .237 average on the year. Will take his first pitch for a strike. Justin finishing up his final season with the Wolves has moved into the record books on several statistical categories. Bunt shown. It's pulled back by Herzog. Hard second step off of second base for Mitzel. They try and backpick him, but he is able to slide back in safely. So the pitch misses. It's a 1-1 count on Herzog. Nobody out. Mitzel at second here in the bottom of the first after the leadoff double. 2-0 the Central lead. 1-1 pitch. Herzog does attempt a bunt here. Lays it foul down the third base line, and he'll move into a 1-2 count. For Herzog, 102 career RBIs for the Wolves, 7th on their all-time list. Also in the top 10 in at-bats and runs scored. 1-2 pitch. Put back up the middle, ramps off the mound, and shoots into center field for a base hit. Mitzel is going to be waved around. He will be in to score. And Western Oregon immediately responds with a run of their own after a leadoff double from Curran Mitzel. Justin Herzog singles to center to score him. It's now 2-1, the Central Washington lead over Western Oregon. And for Justin Herzog, that is career RBI number 103 as he continues to climb the all-time ladder for the Wolves. Back-to-back base hits for Western Oregon to start. Owen Bischoff shows bunt, pulls back, and it'll miss for ball number 1. Bischoff, the center fielder, has the tying run on base in Herzog at first. Still nobody out here in the bottom 1. Pickoff move to first, not in time, and in the dirt, but a good dig out by Andrew Sharp. Well, we got away with it with the double of Mitzel and then the RBI single from Herzog, but to finish the defensive setup for Central Washington, we got through Manzardo at second. 1-0 pitch, bunted down by Bischoff, back to the pitcher, fielded by Garza. His throw to first is going to be off the bag, pull Sharp away from it. Ball gets away from Sharp. Herzog able to advance to third. And it's going to be runners on the corners with nobody out. So Owen Bischoff able to bunt his way aboard. An error is given to the pitcher Jonathan Garza on the throw to first. So it'll be an E1 sacrifice reach for Owen Bischoff. It'll be the air that moves Herzog over to third, and a sacrifice reach for Bischoff, so he won't be dinged for the at-bat. And here's A.J. Cortez, that is, and it's tying run just 90 feet from home for Western Oregon. First pitch in, called strike on Cortez. Cortez, the DH, has Bischoff at first, Herzog at third base. Nobody out, 0-1 count on Cortez. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, drops in. Called strike number 2. Wildcats still looking for their first out. The way this has gone down, double for Mitzel to start. He came in to score on the RBI single of Herzog to follow. Owen Bischoff just able to bunt himself aboard, and a throwing error from Garza allowed Herzog to get to third. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss by Cortez. He will be the first strikeout victim for Garza. And we've got one down here in the bottom of the first inning.
The first baseman, number 21, John Olson.
So just as Mehmet had to throw 30 pitches in the top of one, Garza has had to throw 13 pitches to find his first out of the ball game. This is now John Olson, the first baseman, who watches a slider cut in for called strike number 1. Bischoff on first, Herzog on third. In a 2-1 ball game, both sides able to score in the first inning. We are in the bottom of 1 at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, Montana for the 2024 GNAC Championships. Pickoff move to first will not be in time from Garza. Jonathan Garza, the second named second team All GNAC this year. 0-1 pitch in the dirt, gets back to the backstop. Herzog trying to come home, will slide in safely, just beating the tag of Garza as that wild pitch will tie this game. So it has been 2 costly mistakes that have allowed Justin Herzog to not only advance to third, but now come in to score. A throwing error got him to third, and now a wild pitch will get him in to tie this game at 2-2. Bischoff advances to second on the play. So now the go-ahead run in scoring position for the Wolves, and just like that, the Wildcat lead has evaporated. We're back to even at 2 runs aside. Still 1 down here in the bottom of the first, and a 1-1 count on John Olson. Here's the pitch. Put on the ground towards second base. Ranging to his left is Manzardo. He's got it. Sling to first will be in time for the second out. Bischoff advances to third on the play. So 2 outs and a man at third. 6th batter of the inning is going to be Randy Stoltz.
Right fielder, number 10, Randy Stoltz.
Two outs and nobody on. First pitch fastball just misses outside for ball number 1. Garza has and one of the best strikeout pitchers in the conference this season. He's averaging over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. Check swing, they appeal down the first. No, he did not go. 2-0 now the count on Randy Stoltz. Stoltz, a junior utility man for Western Oregon, has been tasked with playing right field today. 2-0 counts, up and in for ball number 3. We've yet to see a base on balls yet in this game from either side. There have been a combined 6 hits between the two teams. 2 home runs already for Central Washington. That belonged to Varner and Olin, both solo shots. Man at third, 2 outs. Here's the 3-0. That will miss, and it's going to be a 4-pitch walk for Stoltz. So both starting pitchers have been taxed as far as pitch count here in the first inning. That's now 20 pitches already for Garza. Stoltz at first, Bischoff at third, 2 away, and now Colin Irwin Seventh batter of the frame. 2-2 score, Central Washington and Western Oregon. First pitch bounces in the dirt, but scooped out by Oland. Good stop to prevent Stoltz from moving to second and perhaps Bischoff from taking a chance at home. It was a wild pitch that allowed the Wolves to score their second run of this inning as Herzog just beat the throw to the plate for the covering Garza as they collided at home. Here's the 1-0. That misses upstairs on Irwin. That's now 4 consecutive balls thrown by Garza. And that is going to call the Central Washington pitching coach out to have a chat with him. So we've seen a mound conference from both sides here in the first inning. The way the spot of the first has gone down, Mitzel doubled to right center. Herzog singled him in. Owen Bischoff reached on the sac bunt. Herzog was able to scamper to third on the throwing error. Wild pitch got Herzog in. That moved Bischoff to second, and then Bischoff over to third on the ground out of Olesen. Stoltz just walked. He's now at first. Bischoff at third. And a chance for Western Oregon to not only erase the 2-run deficit, which they've already done, but in fact take a lead to the second. As Colin Irwin will get back to action in a 2-0 count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Jonathan Garza trying to end a trend of 6 consecutive balls that he has thrown. Here's the 2-0. Puts it down the pipe. Swung on by Irwin. He flies it into right field. Backing up on it. Varner makes the catch over the shoulder as he approaches the warning track and ends the bottom of the first inning. 2 runs score on 2 hits for Western Oregon. There was an error and 2 left on. And so just as quickly as Central Washington put a couple runs on the board, Western Oregon able to return the favor. As we go to the top of the second inning, our score 2-2 here on GNAC TV. Western Oregon Wolves respond with 2 runs of their own in the bottom of the first inning. It's 2-2 Central Washington, Western Oregon tied as we go to the top of the second. It'll be Hinkle, Madsen, and Manzardo, 8-9-1 hitters due up for the Wildcats. First pitch in for Hinkle goes behind him but ticks off the bat for a foul ball and strike number 1 as it just about caught him. He did not get the bat out of the way, however, so even though a pitch goes behind his back, catches the bat for a foul ball. 0-1, popped up. Shallow left field. Moving in is Mitzel, who will make the catch. 2 pitches for the first out here in the top of the second inning. And here's the last batter that we have not seen for the Wildcats. It's the shortstop, Jake Madsen. 202 average coming in for Madsen. 16 runs, 9 RBI on the season. He's got 6 extra base hits, 5 doubles, and a home run to his name. He'll take an off speed on the inside corner for called strike number 1. 0-1 the count on Madsen. Mehmet had to face 7 batters in the first inning, giving up 4 consecutive hits to the 2 through 5 hitters. Count evens 1-1 on Madsen. So he's looking for a lot more efficient of an inning here in the second to try and prevent that pitch count from getting out of control early. 1-1 pitch taken for a called strike by Madsen. Again, this is the number 2 seed Western Oregon versus the number 3 seed Central Washington. 1-2 fastball, high and inside, 2-2. It is the first of 3 games that we are going to see here today in Billings. These games originally scheduled for yesterday, but so much rain earlier this week. 2-2, grounded to short. Herzog waits back on it. Let's throw to first. Going to be there in time for the second out. Back to the top of the order we go. Marcus Manzardo will come to the plate for Central Washington. So this was a scheduled noon first pitch between Western and Central. We have a 3:30 start scheduled for the number 1 seed Northwest Nazarene versus Central Washington. And then it's going to be NNU and Western Oregon that finish off the day. That one slated to start at 7 p.m. So a lot of baseball coming your way here on this Friday from Billings, Montana. 0-1 pitch misses outside, 1-1 on Marcus Manzardo. He is 0 for 1, flew out to left field to start the game in a very odd at-bat. Got 2 pitches in and then saw a 15-minute delay before the third pitch of that at-bat was thrown. 1-1, comebacker. Mehmet able to track it downhill, underhanded over to first. Great reflexes there from the pitcher. And he throws a 1-2-3 top of the second inning. No runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left aboard. After 4 straight hits allowed by Mehmet in the first, he's now retired 5 in a row. 2-2 our score. Western Oregon coming to the plate with Alarcon, Valdez, and Mitzel due up when we come back here on GNAC TV.
Number 26, Emiliano Alarcon.
Jacob Mehmet, a 1-2-3 top of the second inning as he's retired 5 straight. 2-2 our score, Central Washington and Western Oregon. We go to the bottom of the second, 8-9-1 hitters for the Wolves. First pitch in for Emiliano Alarcon is flown into right center field, chasing it down. Jake Felton able to make the catch on the run. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the bottom of 2. Central Washington looking to win their 22nd game of the season, come in with a 21-27 overall record. First pitch, this is Zach Valdez. Hard grounder down the third base line. Hinkle can't get there on the backhand. It goes into left field. Turning for second is Valdez, and he's going to beat the throw in for a 1-out double. 9th double of the season for Valdez. 2nd extra base hit of the game for the Wolves. They put the go-ahead run in scoring position with just 1 away. And that's going to bring up Kern Mitzel, who's already got a double to his name. He's 1 for 1 with a run scored in this one. Left fielder awaits his first pitch for Garza, who will have to work from a stretch. First offering bounces in front of home, knocked down by Oland. So Austin Oland has had his work cut out for him behind the plate. He's just named to the GNAC first team all-conference for the 4th time. So congratulations to Oland as the 1-0 pitch swung on and missed by Mitzel. Austin Oland just becomes the 2nd player in Great Northwest Athletic Conference history to earn first team all-conference honors 4 times. The other one was actually another Central Washington player as well, Jamie Nilsson, back in 2005 through 8 seasons, first teamer. 1-1 chopper to first base off the bat of Mitchell. That's taken care of by Sharp. He'll go to the bag himself for the out. Valdez able to get to third on the play. So runner does advance on the out.
Shortstop number 4.
So 2 away. Valdez now at third, and here's Justin Herzog to try and keep the inning alive. Herzog, RBI single back in the first to score Mitchell, part of a 2-run first inning. First pitch. He'll take off speed on the outside edge for called strike number 1. It's a 2-2 score here in the bottom of the second inning. Runner at third and 2 outs. 0-1 pitch. Herzog swings through it for strike number 2. So far in this ballgame, inning and 2/3 of work for Garza. He's given up 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 of which have been doubles. He's got 1 strikeout and 1 walk to go with that. 0-2 pitch. Herzog fouls it off to stay alive. Wildcats not playing their best baseball coming into the postseason, as they're just 2-7 over their last 9 games coming into the GNAC championship. So looking to turn the corner and get out of that slump. They've played well against Western Oregon this year. Those 2 teams split this 8-game series on the year. 0-2 pitch, breaking ball, swung on and missed by Herzog, and that is going to end a scoreless bottom of the second inning. 1 out double is stranded at third as it's no runs, a hit, and 1 left aboard. Zeros on both sides in the second as we go to the top of 3. Central Washington 2, Western Oregon 2 on GNAC TV. A 1-out hit by pitch doesn't turn into anything as it's no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. So we are with you briefly for the top of the third, but we head to the bottom of 3, still in a 2-2 score. Central Washington and Western Oregon here on GNAC TV. Bottom of the third inning, game 1 of the 2024 GNAC Baseball Championships. Thanks for sticking with us. 2-2 our score, Central Washington and Western Oregon. Jonathan Garza back for his third inning of work is going to be facing Bischoff, Cortez, and Olison. Here in the bottom of 3, that's a 3-4-5 in the Western Oregon order. 1-0 the count currently on Owen Bischoff. Pitch on the way is going to miss outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Bischoff, no official AB yet. He had a sac bunt in the first. Got aboard and was stranded at third base. 2-0, swing and a miss. He's into a 2-1 count. Mehmet's had to throw 52 pitches through 3 innings so far. With that cut and a miss, that's now 35 pitches for Garza. 2-1. Swing and a miss by Bischoff. So it might be a bit more of an abbreviated day for Jacob Mehmet than he was hoping for. His pitch counts bumping up there fairly quickly. Here's a 2-2. Bischoff drives it into left center field. Going to be down for a base hit. Looping around it is Lead. Bischoff will hold it first. He's got himself a leadoff single. Second reach of the game for him. And for the third straight inning, Western Oregon has had the go-ahead run on base. They've managed to hit in every frame so far. This is going to be A.J. Cortez that comes up with a runner in first and nobody out. First pitch, Cortez will take for ball number 1. He's 0 for 1, went down swinging in the first inning. That's been the first of 2 strikeouts that Jonathan Garza has had in the game. 1-0 pitch, taken for a called strike, 1-1. Again, it'll be NNU facing Central Washington in the second game of this 3-game day. Western Oregon and NNU will finish off the evening. That's a anticipated 7 p.m. first pitch for that one. Pickoff moved to first, not in time. Bischoff slides back in safely. For those wondering why we don't have video here today, we had to switch locations. This ball game was anticipated to be played at Dealer Park here in Billings, the home of the MSUB Yellow Jackets and the Billings Mustangs. Because of weather, had to move it to a turf field. So we are at Joe Pertz Field on the east side of town here for the first of 2 days. To be determined where we'll be playing on Saturday afternoon. 1-2 breaking ball. Hooks it in for a called strike number 3. That's going to be the second time that Cortez goes down on strikes. Third strikeout overall for Garza, and that's the first away here in the bottom of 3. So as we had to relocate to a new ball field, don't have the video capabilities that we would at Dealer Park here. So we are bringing you this audio feed. And for those that have joined us so far, we do appreciate you coming along to support these guys and listen to the GNAC Baseball Championships. So thank you for spending your Friday with us. Situation and the story of this ball game. It's a 2-2 game. Central Washington and Western Oregon tied. Both teams scoring both of their runs in the first. Here's John Olison with 1 on and 1 out for the Wolves. First pitch from Garza, misses high and inside. Taken off on the pitch was Bischoff. Throw to second from Olin, not in time. And Owen Bischoff able to sneak in with his 9th steal of the season and puts a runner in scoring position for Western. Olison grounded out to second in the first. He's 0 for 1. So to catch everyone up, if you weren't with us in the top of 1, Baba Varner had a solo home run, as did Austin Olin, to make it a 2-0 Central Washington lead early. The Wolves responded with 2 runs of their own in the bottom of 1. Kern Mitchell had a leadoff double. Herzog singled him in to follow. Then Herzog scored a couple batters later on a wild pitch. That's been the only scoring so far. Zeros, both sides, the rest of the way. 2-1 breaking ball. Fouled off on the right side. Makes it a 2-2 count on Olison. So the line score of this game, Central Washington, 2 runs, 4 hits. They have committed 1 error. That was by the pitcher, Jonathan Garza, in the first. And for the Wolves, very similar line. 2 runs, 4 hits, but no error tacked against them so far. Bischoff's at second. He led off with a single. Just stole second a few moments ago. 1 down in the inning, 2-2 pitch, and fouled away as Olison has to see another off speed. So he stays in a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Big frame on the first baseman. Olison awaiting his 2-2, fouls another one back. Olson listed at 6'4", 215. Didn't travel far for his collegiate ball. He's a product of Beaverton High School just west of Portland. Attended Ventura College before transferring into Western Oregon to join the Wolves. 2-2. Runs inside, and that hits him. That's his second hit batter of this game. That was just a breaking ball that got away from Garza. Oland was hit for the Wildcats in the top of the third, and now Olison for the Wolves hit in the bottom of 3. So now 2 on and 1 out for Western Oregon. Randy Stoltz will try and put Western Oregon up for the first time in this game. First pitch, swing and a miss. Taking off for third is Bischoff. The throw is going to be in time as Hinkle and Bischoff come together, make contact. Hinkle is able to hold on to the baseball. Third base umpire Ken Diber waiting to make sure that he had control of it. And Bischoff will be caught stealing. So all of a sudden we go from 2 on and 1 out to a runner at first and 2 away. And it's an 0-1 count on Randy Stoltz. 0-1 offering, misses outside, evens it up at 1-1. Bischoff caught trying to steal his second base of the inning, was successful taking second, but Austin Olin throws him out at third. Here's a 1-1. This is up and in, 2 balls, 1 strike, just over the top of the helmet of Stoltz. He walked in the first inning and was stranded on first base, part of that 7-batter bottom of 1 for the Wolves. Garza really having to labor here early on in this game. 2-1, lifted into left field. Lead is backing up. He's on the warning track, and that one is going to sail out of here. Randy Stoltz, a 2-run home run in the bottom of the third inning, gives Western Oregon a 4-2 lead. It's the 5th home run of the season for Stoltz. And for the first time in this game, Western Oregon playing with the advantage. First home run of this game for the Wolves. 3rd home run we've seen in the ball game. As these have just been sneaky home runs. They keep carrying and carrying as this wind moving out towards center field right now, giving a little bit of extra lift to those high fly balls. And Ben Lead in left field, the way he played it, just like every home run we've seen in this game so far, looked like he had a shot. He backs up to the wall, and that one cleared it easily. 1-1 pitch is a called strike. This is Colin Irwin, the catcher. 2 outs and the base is empty. We just saw a 2-run home run from Randy Stoltz a moment ago. And it is now a 4-2 Western Oregon lead. 1-2 pitch. Just going to miss outside. As the Central Washington infield was headed back towards the dugout on that one, thinking that they had Irwin yanked. 2 outs, 2-2 count. Garza's pitch. Misses upstairs, now the count full. Irwin flew out to right to end the first inning. He is 0 for 1, this being his second at-bat of the game. Payoff pitch from Garza. Fastball flown to right field. Varner moving back on it. He's going to have some room as he's just a step in front of the warning track. Makes a catch on another deep flyout. That'll end a 2-run inning for Western Oregon. 2 hits, including the 2-run homer of Randy Stoltz. No errors and nobody left on. So Stoltz able to put Western Oregon ahead. The Wolves now lead 4-2 over the Wildcats as we head to the top of the 4th here on GNAC TV. Top of the fourth inning, 4-2, Western Oregon leading Central Washington University. We just saw a 2-run home run from Randy Stultz in the bottom of 3 to give the Wolves a lead. It's Sharp, McCarthy, and Felton due up here in the top of the fourth for Central Washington. Still Mehmet on the mound for Western Oregon. His 1-0 breaking ball is a called strike in on Sharp. Left-handed hitting first baseman Andrew Sharp, 1-for-1, singled in the first inning, got stranded at first base in that frame. 1-1 pitch will be a called strike on the outside edge as Mehmet continues to work away from Sharp and has been able to catch the outside part of the plate on each of these last 2 pitches. Here's a 1-2 offering. Fastball, swing and a miss in the dirt. Irwin puts on the tag. That's his second strikeout of the day for Jacob Mehmet. We've got 1 down here in the top of the fourth. So far in this ballgame, Jacob Mehmet, 3 1/3 innings of work. He's given up 2 runs on 4 hits. He has struck out 2, yet to walk a man. He did hit a batter in the third. That was Austin Olin, but got a 5-4-3 double play to get himself out of that frame, facing the minimum. First pitch, a called strike on Ryan McCarthy up at the letters. Just catches the top of the zone. The 2 home runs of the Wildcats have not been enough so far. They trail by 2. McCarthy takes an 0-1 outside, 1-1 strike. He struck out in the first inning. Back of this lineup, been quiet first trip through for Central Washington. 6 through 9 hitters went down in order. 1-1, fouled straight back by Ryan McCarthy. 1-2 his count. Central Washington looking for just their second GNAC championship. Their first coming back in 2014. And it would send them to the NCAA West Regionals for the first time in their baseball program's history. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off the front foot by McCarthy. Remains a ball and 2 strikes. They certainly have the offense to make some noise here at the GNACs. Best team batting average in the conference at .305. He's been having trouble finding the power to match the average. 1-2 fouled away by McCarthy. He remains in a 1-2 count. And they are led by the longest tenured coach in the GNAC, and Desi Story, who's now in his 33rd season at the helm of the Wildcats. Been with Central for each of their 23 years in the Great Northwest Athletic Conference. 1-2, cut and a miss, and that's back-to-back strikeouts now for Mehmet. 2 down here in the top of the fourth inning. It's going to bring up Jake Felton with 2 outs and the bases empty.
The center fielder, number 22.
Desi Story has been the head coach of this Wildcat program since 1992. First pitch will miss on Felton for ball number 1. .0 drops in for a called strike on Felton. He flew out to the shortstop Herzog to end the first inning. He's just getting his second at bat now, 0 for 1 in the game. It's been consecutive strikeouts to start this inning for Mehmet. 2 away and a 1-1 count. 4-2 Western Oregon leads. That misses well outside, halfway through the left-handed batter's box to make it a 2-1 count on the center fielder Felton. 2-1 fastball runs inside. Now a 3-1 count for Felton. Head coach for the Wildcats, Desi Story, earned his 700th overall win earlier this year. 3-1 pitch misses low. That's going to be a 2-out walk. Felton gets aboard for the first time. It's 2 out and 1 on. 4-2 our score, Western Oregon leading.
The third baseman, number 3, Brady Hinkle.
So back on April 6th, at St. Martin's in Lacey is where Desi Stewart earned his 700th win. Got his 300th GNAC win earlier this year as well. First pitch in for Hinkle, driven into right center field, down for a base hit. Felton turning for third. He will hold up there, and it's a 2-out single for Brady Hinkle. Puts runners on the corners with 2 away. So the Wildcats not going down quietly here in the 4th. After striking out the first 2 batters, he sees Mehmet a walk and now a single allowed. So 5th batter he'll have to face in this inning is Jake Madsen. Tying run is aboard. He represents the go-ahead run at the plate. That was the 5th hit of the game for Central Washington, and the first hit they've had since the first inning. Mehmet had faced the minimum through the 2nd and the 3rd. Had a 1-2-3 second, hit a batter in the 3rd, but had a double play take care of that. Then struck out the first 2 of the 4th. Looked like he was really finding his zone. Then walked Felton. Hinkle just singled to right center. And now he's going to get a visit on the mound from his catcher, Colin Irwin, as he's got Madsen in a 1-0 count. Madsen grounded out to short in the 2nd inning. Mehmet from a stretch. Runners on the corners. 1-0 pitch. Goes off speed, and that catches the bottom of the zone. 1-1. After a pickoff move over to first base, Hinkle slides back in safely. 1-1, swing and a miss by Madsen. Ball and 2 strikes, and now Mehmet is a pitch away from getting himself out of a jam. It's Hinkle at first, Felton at 3rd. Wildcats trying to get one back after we just saw a 2-run home run from Randy Stoltz in the bottom of 3 to put the Wolves up for the first time. 4-2 our score right now, Western Oregon leading. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That runs high. So 2-2 the count on the Wildcat shortstop. We are now an hour and 20 minutes into this ball game. That's included a 15-minute delay that happened in the top of the 1st inning. 2-2. Swing and a miss in the dirt, so Irwin will have to throw to first. And it's going to be just in time as Olsen has to scoop it up. He gets to the bag. 3rd strikeout of the inning for Jacob Mehmet, and 4th overall. Gets it out of a scoreless top of 4. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. 3.5 are in the books, and the Wolves with a 2-run lead. 4-2 our score, Western Oregon on top here on GNAC TV. Well, Central Washington able to get a couple of men aboard in the top of the 4th, but a 3-strikeout inning for Jacob Mehmet keeps it a scoreless top of the frame. 4-2 our score remains. Western Oregon leads Central Washington. We are now in the bottom of the fourth inning here at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, Montana. It's Jonathan Garza back for his fourth inning of work facing the 8-9-1 hitters in the Western Oregon order. Emiliano Alarcon leads off and is in a 1-1 count. Offering in from Garza, fouled back off the end of the bat by Alarcon. He's 0 for 1 today, flew out to center field back in the second inning. Garza just threw his 60th pitch of the ball game as the 1-2 misses upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In 3+ innings, it's been 4 runs. 3 have been earned on 5 hits that Garza has allowed. He has struck out 3 and walked 1. This is the 17th batter he's faced to the ball game as a 2-2 misses low and away. Count now full. The first batter of the frame into a full count for the Wolves. Payoff pitch on the way. Fastball fouled away by Alarcon. Western Oregon looking to head to their 4th consecutive NCAA regional and their 11th overall. 3-2, flown to right field. Varner's got an eye on it as he makes the run in. He gets underneath and makes the catch for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Western Oregon, far and away the most decorated team in GNAC baseball history. They have won 16 regular season titles, 6 GNAC championships since their inception in 2013, and have been to 10 NCAA regionals. All other GNAC teams combined have gone to 3 regionals. There have been 10 for Western Oregon, so it's quite the program that they have over in Monmouth, which is headed by Kellen Walker now in his 12th season at Woo. 1-1 misses upstairs. This is Zach Valdez, the batter. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count on the second baseman. He doubled in the second, stranded at third base in that inning. He is 1 for 1 in the ball game. We have 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of 4. 2-1 fastball. High fly ball right field. Moving back on it is Varner. Going to have room on the warning track to make the catch. But another long out for the Wolves. Consecutive flyouts to right field makes it 2 away, and the base is empty. Back to the top of the lineup with Curran Mitzel coming up.
Fielder number 13, Curran Mitzel.
Mitzel, a double and a run scored in the first. He is 1 for 2 today. Trying to prevent it from being a 1-2-3 inning. Garza misses high and outside with his first pitch to Mitzel. 1-0 the count. 1-0. Garza works away from him. Mitzel lays off, and it misses 1 in. Or that should be ball number 2, in fact, 2-0. Mitzel picked up his 8th double of the season in that first inning, and that was the 31st run he has scored on the year. Little check swing to dribbler out to short, charging in. Madsen has it. Throw to first. Not going to be in time as the speedy Mitzel is able to beat it out for an infield single. So a 2-out base hits, the 6th hit of the game for the Wolves. Keep the inning alive, and Justin Herzog will have a chance to extend this frame.
Shortstop number 4, Justin Herzog.
Western Oregon got 2 runs in the first, in part due to the RBI single of Herzog, who fouls his first pitch back for strike number 1. He then later scored on a wild pitch, and then it was a 2-run homer in the third for Randy Stoltz that got the other 2 runs in. For the Wildcats, solo home runs each for Varner and Oland, both in the first inning, and in fact in back-to-back pitches. There's a called strike on Herzog. He's now in an 0-2 count. Garza was able to put him down on a strikeout in the second. 3 strikeouts so far in this game for Garza, and he's had 1 in each inning he's thrown so far up until the 4th. 0-2 misses high and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Short lead off of first for Mitchell. Pickoff move over, not going to be, they're going to say in time, actually. As Mitchell slid back in, he's going to be tagged out, so that is going to be a pickoff 1-3 of Mitchell at first, and that means Herzog's going to have to come back to the plate in the fifth. So Garza only faces 3 batters in the inning, no runs, a hit, and nobody left on here in the bottom of 4. It remains a 4-2 ball game as Garza and Mehmet have both settled in. We go to the top of 5. Western Oregon up by 2 here on GNAC TV.
Manzardo.
Oh, we got 4 innings in the books here in Billings, and Western Oregon has gotten the better of Central Washington so far. 4-2 our score, Wolves leading the Wildcats. They send Jacob Mehmet back out for the top of the 5th. He'll be facing the top of the Central Washington order that begins with Marcus Manzardo, who's quickly in an 0-1 count. Offering from Mehmet will be in for a called strike. So 0-2 now on Manzardo, who flew out to left field in the first and grounded out on a comebacker back to the pitcher in the second inning. 0-2 so far on the day for the second baseman. 0-2 pitch, soft grounder to first. Backhanding is the first baseman Olesen. Going over to cover will be the pitcher Mehmet. It's not fielded cleanly by him, and it's going to be a reach to start the inning for Manzardo. It's going to be scored a fielding error on Jacob Mehmet. So an E1 reach for Marcus Manzardo will bring the tying run to the plate for the Wildcats. And it's their right fielder who's already got a dinger on the day. Here's Baba Varner, the right fielder, 1 for 2 with a solo shot. That was back in the first inning. Nobody out. He shows bunts, pulls back, but it'll drop in for a strike. So an 0-1 count on Varner. Left-handed hitting outfielder, hitting .360 on the year. That was just his 4th home run of the season. A big way to start the game for the Wildcats. Had an early 2-0 lead, but that dissipated in the bottom of first as Western Oregon responded with 2 runs of their own. Pickoff moved to first, not in time. Manzardo slides back in safely. We're in day 1 of the GNAC Championships. Bunt shown again by Varner. Pulls back, and this one will miss. So his count evens at a ball and a strike. For those of you that have been following along, you'll know that it was supposed to be a Thursday-Friday 2-day tournament, but that has been bumped to Friday-Saturday with the heavy rains that came through Billings earlier this week. 1-1. Misses high, and again, Varner shows bunt and pulls back at the last moment as the fastball was up around his shoulders. 2 balls and 1 strike now. If you missed it, May 8th was the wettest on record for a May 8th in Billings, and that led to a lot of standing water here on the ball field yesterday, but things looking a lot better here for this Friday afternoon. Varner fouls one off. He's in a 2-2 count. Nobody out in the top of the 5th inning. Manzardo's at first. He just reached on an error by the pitcher, Mehmet. Here's a kick in the 2-2. Here's a chopper out towards second. This one could be trouble. Valdez to second for 1. Herzog back to first in time for a 4-6-3 double play. Second double play that Western Oregon has rolled up in this ball game. Zach Valdez, ranging to his right on a sharp ground ball, is able to toss it off to second, and Herzog completes it over to first. So just like that, from one on and nobody out, 2 outs and the base is empty. Austin Oland will try and keep the inning alive. We have seen 1 error aside in this game, both belonging to the pitchers. Central starter Jonathan Garza had a throwing error, and for Jacob Memmott, it was a fielding error. One-0 count on Austin Oland. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Solo home run in the first, hit by a pitch in the third. He's in a 2-0 count. As that was pitch number 83 for Memmott, and you have to wonder, does he have a 6th inning in him, or is this going to be it for the right-hander? Misses upstairs, 3-0. If he comes back for an efficient 6, he'd have a chance to keep it around 100 pitches. 2-1 for Oland. Swing and a miss as he gets him out in front of the off-speed offering. And he's a strike away from getting out of a scoreless 5th. After allowing 2 runs in the first inning, it's been 4 2/3, or 3 2/3, I should say, of scoreless baseball to follow for the right-hander Jacob Memmott. 2-2. Time is going to be called before the pitch was offered, so an unofficial pitch as Olin will step out and reset. Looks like that was going to be a pitch clock violation. That's why time was called by home plate umpire Kevin Rice. So it's now a full count. Here's a payoff offering for Oland. Just misses outside, and he's going to take the base on balls. And Austin Oland getting it done every way possible. He's got a home run, was hit by a pitch, and now he's been walked aboard. So 3 plate appearances, 3 times he's been aboard as he continues to do his on-base percentage some favors. So 2 outs and 1 on. Ben Lee, GNAC Player of the Year, comes up. 1 for 2 with a single in the first, but an inning-ending double play in the third. First pitch for Lead, in at the belt for a called strike. Lead has had one heck of a 2024 season. Leads the conference in batting average, on base, slugging percentage, hits. Second in RBIs and total bases. Puts the 0-1 on a line to third. Alarcon's there to collect it. And that's going to end a scoreless 5th. No runs, no hits. There was an error and 1 left on for Central Washington. They have yet to be able to overcome this 2-run deficit. 4-2 Western Oregon. They're going to come back up for the bottom of the 5th here on GNAC TV. Into the bottom of the fifth inning we go. Western Oregon leading Central Washington 4-2. Jonathan Garza back for his fifth inning of work delivers a first pitch breaking ball to Justin Herzog for a called strike. Garza working quickly. 0-1 will miss low. Evens the count at 1-1. Herzog, Bischoff, Cortez, the 3-2 up in the bottom of 5 for the Wolves. That's a 2-3-4 in their order. Garza. 1-1 pitch, fastball gets a swing and a miss from Herzog, who chases it down in the dirt. Ball and 2 strikes. Well, after seeing a couple of deep fly balls down each of the lines that seemed like they would just be routine flyouts turn into home runs, we've now seen the left and right fielders for Central Washington back up to just steps in front of the warning track for their set positions. That's Lead in left field and Varner in right field. This ball just continues to carry here at Pertz Field. 2-2 pitch. Herzog watches it go by for called strike number 3. Fourth strikeout for Jonathan Garza, and we've got one down in the bottom of the fifth. Now it's 320 down the left and right field lines, but it just stays real shallow getting into those gaps. Does get out to 403 just left of center field, and it's 398 to the right of dead center. Here's Owen Bischoff, takes it high for ball number 1. It stays fairly narrow in right and left. Not a lot of depth to these lines, so if you can pull it in either direction, that thing has a chance. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls, no strikes now for Bischoff, who has reached twice. It was a sac bunt reach in the first and then a single in the third. He was able to steal a base, but then was caught stealing, trying to take third as well. 2-0. Fastball flown into shallow right. Varner moving in on it. Able to track it and get underneath. He makes a catch for the second out. It's now 2 away. So we've been talking about pitch counts in this ball game and the impact it's going to have on perhaps the workload that each bullpen's going to have to take on.
Hitter number 35, A.J. Cortez.
For Jonathan Garza with that latest out, he's now at 83 pitches in this ball game. First pitch for Cortez. Chopper back behind the mound, charging in. Jake Madsen's got it. He throws to first. And that's going to be a 1-2-3, bottom of 5. No runs, hits, or errors. Nobody left aboard for Jonathan Garza. Scoreless for both sides in the fifth. We're heading to the sixth. It remains a 4-2 ball game. Western Oregon up by 2 here on GNAC TV.
For Central Washington, the first baseman, number 15.
Top of the sixth inning, Western Oregon with a 4-2 lead over Central Washington. Jonathan Garza really starting to find his stride in these last couple of innings on the bump. Just had a 1-2-3 frame in the bottom of 5. The Wildcats' starting pitcher has now seen the minimum over the last 7 batters he has seen and has retired 6 of the last 7, with only a single for Curran Mitzel mixed in there, but he was able to pick him off. So that's why he's faced the minimum, but has only retired 6 of the last 7 at the plate. 1-1 the counts. This is Andrew Sharp leading things off in the top of the sixth for Central Washington. 1-1 will miss high and away, so he's now into a 2-1 count. So we're getting to the breaking point for both of these starting pitchers. For Jacob Memmott, he just crossed over the 90-pitch threshold. In fact, this will be the 93rd coming home on the 2-1. Sharp swings through it to even it at 2-2. So you would imagine that this will be the end of the line for Memmott if they're going to keep him around that 100-pitch mark. We'll see if that's the number here. Once you get into postseason baseball, things get very different. 2-2, hard grounder to third. Alarcon able to field it cleanly. His throw to first will be there in time for the first out. So Sharp retired for the second time in this game, and we've got one down here in the top of the sixth. Winner of this game is going to guarantee themselves a spot tomorrow. The loser of this game will have to win if they would like to continue along in the GNAC championships in their second matchup of the day versus Northwest Nazarene. First pitch is in for a called strike on Ryan McCarthy. So for those not familiar, this is a two-day tournament. First day's round-robin format. We got 3 teams. They're all playing each other over the course of 3 games. So each team plays 2. 0-1 misses low and inside on McCarthy, just off his shoelaces for 1-1. So at the end of the day, if we have a team that's 2-0, a team that's 1-1, and a team that's 0-2, that 0-2 team is eliminated, and we're going to have a best-of-2 series tomorrow. The 2-0 team only needing to win 1, and the 1-1 team will need to win 2. Should all 3 of these teams go 1-1 today, then tomorrow, Northwest Nazarene, as the number 1 seed, will have the first game off, and they'll just have to win 1 tomorrow. Western Oregon and Central Washington would face each other as the 2 and 3 seed in the first game of the day. Winner of that then takes on Northwest Nazarene for the GNAC title. So a lot of different things can happen here today. We need a lot of baseball to play out before we have any kind of idea what our schedule is going to be like for Saturday afternoon here in Billings. Ryan McCarthy has worked himself into a 3-2 count. 1 down and nobody aboard in the top of the 6th inning. Full count for the designated hitter for the Wildcats, who is 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Payoff pitch, hard grounder, back to the pitcher, Memmott. Able to knock it down, chases it, and is able to overhand it over to first in time for the out. Tough play there for Memmott, but he is able to retire McCarthy for the second out of the inning. For Central Washington, what has been the best offense in the conference this season has been quiet since the first. They came out of the gates with a bang. 4 hits, 2 home runs, and 2 runs in that first inning. As a first pitch in for Jake Felton is going to peg him. Takes it off of the left arm, and he'll be aboard on a hit by pitch. Second free pass for him. He was walked in the 4th and then takes one off the arm here in the 6th. But since that 4-hit, 2-home-run first inning for the Wildcats, they have managed just 1 hit and no runs over the last 4 2/3. Here's Brady Hinkle, runner at first base and 2 outs. First pitch. Memmott goes with a slider that Hinkle swings through for strike number 1. Hinkle singled back in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 2. Got stranded at first in that inning. Memmett's 0-1. Called strike number 2. And for those keeping a tab on Memmett's pitch count along with us, that is over 100 now. He is at 103 pitches on the afternoon. 0-2. Chopper. Back behind the mound, Memmott takes a couple steps back. He has it, throws to first, gets the out there. And that is another scoreless inning of work for Jacob Memmott, and I imagine that'll be the end of the line for him. But what a beauty he's thrown here today. No runs, hits, or errors, and 1 left on in the top of 6. It is 4-2, Western Oregon leading Central Washington. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Olesen, Stoltz, and Irwin due up when we come back on GNAC TV. Bottom of the 6th inning and a 4-2 Western Oregon lead over Central Washington. Jacob Mimich, another scoreless frame in the 6th for him as he did hit a batter but only faced 4 in the inning. Olson, Stoltz, and Irwin are coming up here in the bottom of 6. Again facing Jonathan Garza still on the mound in the start for the Wildcats. His 1-0 offering in for Olson in there for a called strike to even the count at 1-1. Olson hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd. Takes one up and in, 2-1 the count on him. He was able to score on the 2-run home run of Randy Stoltz. That's where the Wolves took their first and what has been only lead so far, and it's maintained since the bottom of 3. Garza's 2-1. Fastball fouled back to even the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Western Oregon looking for their 3rd consecutive GNAC championships title, won it in 23 and 22. 2-2. Fastball fouled away. In fact, there is not a school in the conference that has won multiple GNAC postseason championships. Besides Western Oregon with their 6, NNU's got 1, Central Washington's got 1, and MSUB, they all have 1. 2-2, check swing. Olson goes. It gets back to the backstop away from Oland, and Olson is going to be able to get aboard. So while it is the 5th strikeout of the game for Garza, it's a wild pitch reach for Olson, and the first man of the 6th is on for Western Oregon. We're going to see a visit to the mound again for Garza. 2nd time he's been visited in this ball game by his coaching staff. Garza now at 90 pitches. 5+ innings of work, 4 runs, 3 earned on 6 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. And he should have a little bit left in the tank, but just a couple batters likely left for Garza before he's going to have to exit this ball game. That 100-pitch count is really the target mark we'll be looking at for starting pitchers throughout this tourney to see, whereabouts at that mark do they sit. Mehmet at 104 likely done. So we would most likely be seeing Western Oregon head to their bullpen for the first time going to the 7th inning. But we shall see. The way Pertz is set up, bullpens are off the field behind fences down the left and right field lines, and just really tough views from back here behind home plate. So really not sure what the status of either bullpen is right now. We're back to action. The batter, Randy Stoltz, swings through a first pitch breaking ball to put him into an 0-1 count. Stoltz homered back in the 3rd inning. It was a 2-run blast as he shows bunts on the 0-1, pulls back. It's a called strike anyway. He has yet to been retired in this game. He walked in the 1st, 2-run homer in the 3rd. He's got Olson at first base right now with nobody out. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning with a 4-2 Western Oregon lead over Central Washington. Garza's 0-2. Low and away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Olson reached on a strikeout wild pitch. Went chasing a 2-2 in the dirt. Got away from Oland and just gave Olson enough time to get aboard. 1-2. Hard grounder down the 3rd baseline, just foul. As Hinkle went chasing it into foul territory. Only missed the chalk by a foot or so. So Stoltz will come back to home plate in a 1-2 count. Garza Trying to keep this a 2-run ball game. 1-2 pitch. A little check swing by Stoltz. They'll appeal down. Did he go? Yes, he did. So Randy Stoltz retired on his first strikeout of the ball game. 6th total for Jonathan Garza, and he has struck out 3 of the last 5 batters he has faced. Best strikeout pitcher in the conference, as we talked about earlier in this game. And he continues to show that here on this Friday afternoon. Pickoff move to first. Not in time. Olson slides back in safely. Colin Irwin, the batter. Irwin 0 for 2 has flown out to deep right on a couple of occasions in this game. 1 out and 1 on. We'll watch a curveball drop in for strike number 1. That one dropping off the table well. Started up around Irwin's shoulders and takes a late dip into the zone for a called strike. 0-1 pitch. That'll catch it. No, just a little bit low. That looked like it might have been just around the knees, but a bit below the strike zone, says home plate umpire Kevin Rice. 1-1 the count. 2-run ball game. Irwin lifts another one into right field. Varner backing up on it. Just in front of the right field wall, he's able to make the catch. So Irwin continuing to push the ball to deep right, but Varner's been able to track it down every time. That's the second out of the inning. Olson has to hold at first, and that'll bring up Emiliano Alarcon.
The third baseman, number 26, Emiliano Alarcon.
Been 2 strikeouts and a fly-out in this inning, but the inning persists given the strikeout wild pitch reach. First pitch for Alarcon in there for a called strike. He has flown out twice in this game as well and is having an 0 for 2 afternoon to this point. 0-1 be taken again for a strike by Alarcon. He flew out to center field to lead off the second, flew out to right to lead off the fourth. The first time we've seen him come to the plate not to start an inning in this game. Pickoff move to first, not in time. Sliding back in safely is Olson. Oh, 2. Swung and fouled off by Alarcon. He goes chasing a fastball up around his neck. Is able to chip it away to keep it a no-ball 2 strike. 260 average on the year for the third baseman. He's got 9 doubles and a homer, along with 30 runs batted in. 0-2. That one will miss high as well. Up around the top of the helmet of Alarcon. 1-2 his count. We have not seen a run scored by either side since the bottom of the third. We are now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Western Oregon leading 4-2. 1-2 pitch for Alarcon. Swing and a miss. 3rd strikeout of the inning for Garza. 7th overall. No runs, no hits or errors. 1 left on here in the bottom of the 6th. So as we head to the 7th, the score remains. Western Oregon 4, Central Washington 2 on GNAC TV. Western Oregon will be the first team to go to their bullpen. Top of the 7th inning, Western Oregon 4, Central Washington 2. As Owen Murdoch appears out of the pen for the Wolves to replace Jacob Mehmet. Mehmet goes 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts as he leaves in position for the W. He's replaced by the right-hander out of Cedro-Woolley, Washington, Owen Murdoch, 2-5 record and a 4.97 earned run average this season for Murdoch, who's going to be facing the 9-1-2 of the Wildcats order here in the top of the 7th. 0-2 count quickly on Jake Madsen, the shortstop. 0-2 offering a fastball, line down the right field line. Chasing it is Stoltz. He's not going to be able to get there. It lands fair. Trying for second is Madsen. The throw to second will not be in time, and it's a leadoff double for the shortstop, Jake Madsen. So the Wildcats, having seen the last of Mehmet, hoping to have some better luck against the Wolves bullpen, and they start off well with an extra base hit for Madsen. Back to the top of the order, here's Marcus Manzardo.
Second baseman number 2, Marcus Manzardo.
For Murdoch, this is the 3rd time he is facing Central Washington this season. First pitch for Manzardo, line towards short. Past the outstretched glove of Herzog into left field for a base hit. Madsen is held at third. That's back-to-back hits for Central Washington to start the top of the 7th. They've got the tying run aboard, and they're going to bring the go-ahead run to the plate in the form of Baba Varner, who's already got a home run on the day. Varner 1 for 3. Solo blast in the first was the first run of this ballgame. It was his 4th homer of the season. Since then, popped out to third and grounded into a double play. First pitch, Varner fouls it back for strike number 1. And the Wildcats in a very dangerous part of their order right now. They got Varner up with a 360 average. The 348 average of Olin waits on deck. And then you got the GNAC player of the year in the hole right now, and Ben Lead with 2 on and nobody out. 0-1 will miss low. The count evens at 1-1. Last time that Murdoch faced Central Washington, he went 3 innings, giving up 4 runs on 3 hits, walked 2. That was on April 13th. First time he faced the Wildcats this year, he went 6 1/3, giving up 3 runs on 7 hits, striking out 4 and not issuing a walk. Yes. Coming out of the bullpen has not been his MO this season. Only the 3rd time he has come in relief this year. 1-2 pitch. That's going to ding him. Baba Varner takes one off of his back. He is hit by a pitch, and Central Washington has the bases loaded and nobody out. Things getting very dicey for the Western Oregon defense here in the top of 7. And before he's even able to retire a batter, Owen Murdoch is going to get a visit from his pitching coach. Madsen started the inning with a double to right. Manzardo immediately lined a single to left behind him, and we just saw Baba Varner hit by a pitch. So those are the 3 aboard respectively. Madsen at 3rd, Manzardo at 2nd, and Varner at 1st. And it's going to be Austin Oland with an enormous opportunity, but he will not be facing Owen Murdoch as the Wolves are going to go to the pen. That's the end of the day for Murdoch. Just faces 3 batters, does not retire any of them. He gives up 2 hits, not allowed to run, but he's on the hook for 3. No walks, but a hit batter, and no strikeouts. So we will take a pause. When we come back on the mound for Western Oregon, it's going to be Bryce Bond. 4-2 our score here in the top of the 7th, but the bases loaded for the Wildcats and nobody out here on GNAC TV. Owen Murdoch, not the afternoon he was hoping for. He's pulled after just facing 3 batters. We are in the top of the 7th inning, 4-2 Western Oregon leading Central Washington. But the Wildcats with the bases loaded, nobody out. Austin Olin, the batter, facing Bryce Bond, who comes in to replace Owen Murdoch. After just facing 3, he gave up a double to Madsen, a single to Manzardo, and then hit Baba Varner. So now the base is loaded. Austin Olin not been retired in this game. He's 1 for 1 with a homer. He's hit by a pitch and walked. Right-on-righty matchup as Bond, his 1-0 offering. Olin pops it up into shallow right field. Running in on it is Stoltz. Shallow enough that it looks like Madsen will not tag. And Bond picks up a big first out of the inning. So we've got 1 away here in the top of 7. Murdoch will be responsible for all 3 base runners aboard right now.
Left fielder number 20, Ben Lee.
It's just his 3rd relief appearance of the season is a short one. And Bond's going to try and clean things up here for his teammate in the 7th. The batter now, GNAC Player of the Year, Ben Lee. Takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Lead in this game, 1 for 3, singled in the first. Got stranded at second in that inning. Here's Bond's 0-1, fastball, fouled off, puts him in an 0-2 count. On the season, Bond a 1-2 record and a 4.00 earned run average. The 6'4 junior out of Simi Valley, California, just northwest of Los Angeles. Attended Sierra Canyon High School, which has produced numerous collegiate and professional athletes. Pickoff move over to third. Gets away from Alarcon. Into score is going to be Madsen. And all base runners advancing on a very, very odd throwing error from Bryce Bond. So Bond kicked and then made the pickoff move over to third. But Alarcon was not there and ready for it. So he had to throw it in the dirt because he has to get rid of it. If he doesn't throw that over to third, that's going to be a balk and everyone's scoring anyway. He puts it in the dirt. It gets past Alarcon down the third baseline into foul territory. And everyone's going to advance, and it's now a 1-run ball game. So that's the second error of the game on Western Oregon. Both of those errors have been on pitchers. We've seen 3 total errors in this game. All have been on pitchers. So it's still Ben Lee at the plate in an 0-2 count. We have 1 out, runners at second and third now, and the score 4-3, the Western Oregon lead. Go-ahead run in scoring position now for the Wildcats. 0-2 for lead. Fouls it off. It remains no balls, 2 strikes. Central Washington has trailed since the third. They have a chance to tie or even reclaim the lead here in what has been an eventful top of the 7th inning. Bond from a stretch. 0-2 pitch. In the dirt. Gets away from Irwin. But he keeps it close enough that Manzardo is going to hold at third base. And the count runs 1-2. For Bond, who's worked out of the bullpen exclusively this season, this is his 20th overall appearance. They have all been in relief. He is facing the Wildcats for the 5th time. Kicking the 1-2. Again in the dirt. Bounces away from Irwin, but close enough that Manzardo will not try it for home. Good job by catcher Colin Irwin to keep it within reasonable distance so that it doesn't get Manzardo tempted to try and take home on a wild pitch. 2-2 now the count on lead. We have seen 2 hits, a hit batter, an error, and a run scored in this inning. Ben Lee awaiting the 2-2. Here it is from Bond. That runs low on a fastball, and his count is now full. Waiting on deck, Andrew Sharp. Wildcats currently out hitting the Wolves 7-6, but trail this game by 1. Our score 4-3. We are in the top of the 7th inning. Bond trying to get himself out of a jam. Payoff pitch. Fastball in the dirt. Back to the backstop. Coming for home is Manzardo. He's going to slide in safely, and we are tied up at 4. It's a base on balls for lead. A wild pitch allows Manzardo to score and will send Varner over to third base. So it's now back to even, and the Wildcats have the go-ahead run 90 feet from home. Outs have been tough to come by for the Western Oregon defense here in the top of 7. The batter's going to be the left-handed hitting first baseman Andrew Sharp. He will come up with lead at first, Varner at third, and just 1 down. The 2 runs that have been scored in this inning are going to go on the tally of Owen Murdoch. Murdoch also responsible for Varner, who's at third base, and then that will close his line for the ball game. 4-4 our score. It's been a 2-run 7th so far for Central Washington. First pitch for Sharp. Runs inside, and it's going to hit him. That catches the front foot of Sharp. Second hit batter of the inning. And for the second time in this inning, the Wildcats have the bases loaded. We have seen 6 batters so far in this inning, 2 hits, 2 hit batters, and a walk. And the Western Oregon bullpen having a little bit of trouble finding outs. So Ryan McCarthy will be the next one up with the bases juiced. And after 3 batters, Bryce Bond has to get a visit from his coaching staff as well. We saw Murdoch get yanked after 3 batters. That's not going to be the case here for Bond. He will stay in the game. Sharp on first, lead at second, Varner at third. An error and a wild pitch have contributed to this 2-run inning for the Wildcats. 4-4, we got a new ball game. And Ryan McCarthy will try and give the Wildcats the lead back. They have not led since the 3rd. McCarthy 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. First pitch, fastball at the knees for called strike number 1. Central Washington trying to snap what has been a 2-7 slide over the last 9 games. 0-1 runs up and in just off of the jersey of McCarthy. Almost caught him for what would have been a free run. Instead, it's a 1-1 count. That was just off of his jersey. Couldn't have missed by more than an inch. 1 ball and 1 strike and 1 out here in the top of 7. Bond, pitch on the way. Fastball for a strike called. Hits the outside corner, 1-2. Ryan McCarthy with a huge postseason opportunity right now. He's got the bases loaded in front of him and 1 out. Go-ahead run at third for the Wildcats. Breaking ball on the ground through the left side for a base hit. In to score is Varner. Lead holds up at third, and Ryan McCarthy delivers a go-ahead RBI single. Central Washington back on top, 5-4. Bases will remain loaded. As Jake Felton comes up. And it looks like we're going to get a pinch runner into the game. I think we just saw the DH McCarthy come off from first base. Cannot catch a glimpse at what number we have down at first now. But we will have a pinch runner at first. Just a matter of identifying who we got back there.
Pinch runner, first base, number 24, Max Bleddy.
Okay, so we do have ID. It's Max Bleddy at first.
Center fielder, number 22, Jake Felton.
So that's going to be the day for Ryan McCarthy. He ends the day 1 for 4, but comes up with a big RBI single here in the top of the 7th. So Bleddy will take his spot in the lineup as the DH rest of the way. So Bleddy at first, Sharp at second, Lead at third, 5-4 Central Washington lead here in the top of 7. They've scored 3 runs in this inning. They have the bases loaded, just 1 out. Jake Felton takes it up and in for ball number 2. 2-0 his count. Wildcats looking to bat around here in the 7th inning. They were having trouble getting the bats going. There's Jacob Memmott, really a doozy of an outing in the start for the Wolves. 2-0 in there for a called strike on the outside edge. But unfortunately for Memmott, he's going to be leaving this one with no decision. He left in position for the W, but Wildcats now on top here late in this ball game. Kicking the 2-1 pitch. Fouled back. That'll even the count. 2-2 on Felton. We've seen a lot of free passes in this game. Felton's got 2 of them. He's walked aboard and he's been hit by a pitch. Just in this inning, we've seen 2 hit batters and a walk issued. Overall, 4 hit batters have reached in the game for the Wildcats. That goes along with 3 walks. So 7 free batters aboard so far for Central Washington. That along with 8 hits. 2-2 the count on the center fielder, Jake Felton. He is facing Bryce Bond. Second pitcher of the inning we have seen for Western Oregon. Bases are loaded and 1 down. 5-4 the Wildcat lead. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. And a big strikeout there for Bryce Bond. Boy, did he need that one. We've got 2 down in the inning. That's going to bring up Brady Hinkle.
The third baseman, number 3, Brady Hinkle.
Hinkle 1 for 3 with a single in the 4th. He is the 9th batter of this inning. Wildcats have been able to send the entirety of their lineup to the plate in the top of the 7th. First pitch for Hinkle. Put on the ground towards short, ranging to his right. Herzog, he'll go to second for the force there, and that will end what turns into a 3-run inning for Central Washington. They get those 3 runs on the power of 3 hits. There was 1 error, and the bases were left loaded. Wildcats get the lead back with the help of an RBI single from Ryan McCarthy. 5-4 the score. Central Washington lead as we're going to stretch it out here in Billings on GNAC TV. To the bottom of the seventh we go here in Billings. 5-4, Central Washington reclaiming the lead from Western Oregon. They have a 3-run top of the seventh, get a double from Madsen, RBI single from McCarthy, and on multiple occasions have the bases loaded. That's how they leave them to end the inning. So back on top, the Wildcats with their first lead since the third inning. Western Oregon with some work to do here over the back third of this game. Valdez, Mitchell, and Herzog due up to start the inning. 0-1 pitch for Valdez, driven down the left field line and deep. And just like that, we are back to even. Zach Valdez delivers a solo home run to lead off the bottom of the seventh, and it is 5-5. First home run this season for Valdez, and boy, what a spot to do it in. He is having quite the game to start these GNACs. He's now 2 for 3 with a double and a homer. First pitch, this is Curran Mitchell. That'll miss upstairs for ball number 1. That homer for Valdez comes off of the first reliever into this game for Central Washington. Here's Aaron Robertson, the pitcher. Left-hander's 0 for 1 on the season. 0-1, I should say, in record with a 4.50 ERA. He replaces Jonathan Garza, who went 6 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned on 6 hits, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. Mitchell currently in a 2-0 count. Bases empty and nobody out. We just had a home run from Zach Valdez to lead off the inning. 2-0. Lined into left center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Wolves to start the bottom of the seventh. So both teams finding some success against their opposing bullpen. So we've got a home run and a single so far from Western Oregon off of Aaron Robertson. Justin Herzog showing bunt, but a pickoff move over to first from Robertson. Keep an eye on Curran Mitchell. He has stolen 7 bases this year. And the Wolves, big opportunity to get aggressive here late in this game to try and reclaim a late lead. First pitch for Herzog. Shows bunts. Lays it down, but foul as it dribbles into the left-handed batter's box for strike number 1. Herzog, a 2023 first-team all-conference selection. Missed the list this year. Shows bunt again. Pulls back, and it'll be a ball called 1-1. He had an interesting game early on in the season. He had a 2-home-run game in Monmouth on February 18th when Western Oregon hosted Eastern Oregon. That was the first time the Wolves had had a multi-home run game at home since 2015. So a 9-year span in between multi-homer games at home. During that span, they had 14 multi-home run games from a player on the road. Bunt laid down on the third base line by Herzog, picked up by Hinkle. His throw to first will be there in time. So Herzog retired, but he gets the job done as his sacrifice bunt will advance Curran Mitchell to second. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Already a run in this frame. Zach Valdez, a solo home run to lead things off. 1 out. Mitchell now at second for the Wolves, and a 5-5 tie between Western Oregon and Central Washington. Here's Owen Bischoff, who's hitting in the 3-hole for the Wolves. We appreciate those of you that have stuck with us for the entirety of this one. We got going now an hour and 2 hours and 25 minutes ago. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning and a 5-5 tie. Swing and a miss for Bischoff on his first pitch puts him to 0-1 count. 1 out and a runner at second base for the Wolves, representing the go-ahead run in this ball game. We have seen both teams hold the lead For the Wildcats, they've led twice. We have seen 2 ties and 1 Western Oregon lead in the game. 1-1 pitch. Chopper foul makes it 1-2. Bischoff. A sacrifice bunt turned into a reach in the first for him. He singled in the third and flew out to right field in the fifth. Keeping his batting average above 300. Came into the game 304, and he's currently 1 for 2. 1-2 offering. Chopper to third. This one trouble. Short hop picked by Hinkle. Throw to first. Not going to be in time as Bischoff able to leg it out for an infield hit. Third hit of the inning for the Wolves. It'll advance Mitchell to third. Now men on the corners with just 1 down, and the Wolves a chance to take the lead right back from the Wildcats.
Designated hitter number 35, A.J. Cortez.
Here's A.J. Cortez. Designated hitter 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. Robertson having some trouble in relief as he misses outside for ball number 1. Almost gets past Oland, who really has to reach out to reel that one in. This inning started with a solo home run from Zach Valdez. Mitchell then singled. He's at third now. And we just saw Bischoff with an infield single. He takes his lead off of first. 1-0 pitch. Cortez watches it outside. Robertson shakes off his battery mate Austin Oland a couple of times till he finds the pitch he wants here. Tries to pick off, move over to first, not going to be in time as Bischoff will step back into the bag. Cortez with a base hit could put Western Oregon back on top. 2-0 pitch, fouled back to the screen, 2-1. 9 hits in the ball game for the Wolves, 8 on the other side for the Wildcats. The story of this one, we saw 2 runs aside in the first inning. Home runs from Varner and Oland for Central Washington put the Wildcats up 2-0 after the top of the first. Pickoff moved to first, not in time. Bischoff back in safely again. Wolves responded with 2 runs of their own in the bottom of 1. Leadoff double for Mitchell came in to score on Justin Herzog's RBI single, and then Herzog scored on a wild pitch. It was a 2-2 game after the first. That's the way it stayed till the bottom of 3. Another pickoff move is Aaron Robertson keeping a very close eye on Owen Bischoff, who has 8 steals on the season coming into the game, added his 9th on in the 3rd inning, and certainly is liable to take off on you at any moment. 2-1 pitch. Check swing. Cortez holds off, and it misses away, 3-1. Western Oregon then took their first and only lead in the bottom of the 3rd when Randy Stoltz hit a 2-run home run. That made it a 4-2 Wolves advantage. That's how the score stayed until the top of the 7th. And then we saw 3 runs on 3 hits from the Wildcats. Madsen doubled, Manzardo singled, as did McCarthy in the top of 7th. That made it 5-4 Central Washington. Now here we are in the bottom of 7. Already a run in for the Wolves on a leadoff solo home run from Zach Valdez. So we are in a 5-5 game in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 out. Bischoff at first, Mitchell at third base for Western Oregon. And we have seen a handful of pickoff attempts over to first by Robertson as he continues to make sure that Bischoff keeps his lead off of the bag. A very, very short one. Cortez waiting the 3-1, and he'll foul it off down the right field line to put him in a full count. Three balls and 2 strikes on the Western Oregon designated hitter. We've seen a couple of solid outings from starting pitchers Jacob Memmott and Jonathan Garza. 3-2 for Cortez. Driven into center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Mitchell in to score from third. Bischoff holds at second, and the Wolves back on top. It's an RBI single for A.J. Cortez, and it is now 6-5 Western Oregon.
The first baseman, number 21, John Olson.
John Olson, the batter, 2 on, and just 1 out. It's been a multi-run inning for both sides here in the 7th. That was the 4th hit of the inning for the Wolves. We just saw an RBI single for Cortez up the middle to score Curran Mitchell. 2nd run that Mitchell scored in this ballgame. And it's a 6-5 Western Oregon advantage. Kicking the 1-0 pitch. Fastball driven high and deep left field. No doubt about this one. John Olson delivers a 3-run home run. It has turned into a 5-run 7th for the Wolves. Their lead is now 4. It's 9-5 Western Oregon. For John Olson, his first hit of the day, his 5th home run of the season. It's a 3-run blast to make it a 5-run bottom of the 7th inning. So now 9-5 the Wolves lead, and that's going to be the afternoon for Aaron Robertson. We'll step aside while Central Washington goes to their bullpen. Western Oregon enjoying their largest lead yet at 4. 9-5 our score here on GNAC TV.
For the Wolves, the right fielder, number 10.
Well, just as Central Washington found some offensive success in the top of the 7th, Western Oregon doing the same here in the bottom of the 7th. It's now been a 5-run inning for the Wolves offense. They lead this ballgame 9-5 over the Wildcats. They force Central Washington to go to their bullpen for the 2nd time. Alex Brady is going to replace Aaron Robertson, who just gets through a 1/3 of an inning, giving up 5 runs on 5 hits, no walks, and no strikeouts. He's on the hook for the loss right now. As Alex Brady, the left-hander, delivers a 1-0 in for Randy Stoltz. That's fouled off on the right side, even the count at 1-1. Brady, a lefty out of Longview, Washington. Stands at 5'10", 195 pounds. Kicking the 1-1 in. Fouled off again by Stoltz. 1-2 now the count. Bases are empty as we just saw a 3-run home run from John Olson make this a 4-run lead for the Wolves. Brady, the kick and the 1-2. A little flare towards first base. Just foul as Sharp goes diving into foul territory to try and get there. Can't quite. And so Stoltz will stay alive in a 1-2 count. facing the former SEC left-hander Alex Brady, transferred into Central Washington from Louisiana State University, better known as LSU. One, two, low and away, makes it a 2-2 count on Stoltz. Brady spent 1 year at LSU. That was back in 2022. Came out of the bullpen 12 times for the Tigers. Got one win in a total of 8 innings of work over those 12 relief appearances. 8 hits and 8 strikeouts in that time. 2-2 fouled away by Stoltz. Keeps it a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Randy Stoltz, a home run of his own in this game. That was back in the third, a 2-run shot. He's 1 for 2 with a walk as well. 9-5 the score, 1 out, no one on. 2-2, fastball in there for called strike number 3. So a backwards K for Brady to start his outing. And we have 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Central Washington was just up 5-4 coming into the bottom of the 7th. They now find themselves down 9-5, and they're going to only have 6 offensive outs left of wiggle room to try and overcome this multi-run deficit. 2 outs and no one on. First pitch for Colin Irwin popped up in front of second base. No one able to get there as it's going to fall in for a little bloop infield single. Irwin, that one off the hands. And Manzardo and Madsen, neither could get there as it just falls in front of second. For a 2-out single for Irwin. That's the 6th hit of the inning for Western Oregon. It's going to bring up their 9th batter in Emiliano Alarcon. Third baseman hitless in this game, 0 for 3. First pitch upstairs, 1-0. Waiting on deck will be Zach Valdez, who we saw lead off this inning with a home run. 1-0 offering. Hard grounder foul down the third base line by Alarcon. For Valdez, who's now 2 for 3 on the day with a double and a home run, that's 6 total bases in just 3 at-bats. That was his first career home run at Western Oregon. He's played 3 seasons with the Wolves. That was his 263rd at-bat, and he finally gets that first dinger in. What a spot to get it in. 1-1 in the dirt. That's going to allow a chance for Irwin to head out to second. He's going to get there safely. So a wild pitch will advance him into scoring position. Alarcon into a 2-1 count, and now a base hit could extend this to a 5-run lead for Western Oregon. Already a 5-run, 6-hit inning. What else do the Wolves have up their sleeves? 2-1 in from Brady. That misses low. Going for third is Irwin, and he's going to be thrown out. Good throw down by Olin and a bad jump from Irwin, so he will be caught stealing, and that will stop the bleeding for the Wildcats. But not before 5-run score on the power of 6 hits, no errors, and nobody left on. Western Oregon now enjoying a 9-5 lead over Central Washington. We head to the top of the 8th here on GNAC TV. We are into the top of the 8th inning in what has been a very back and forth last inning here in Billings. Western Oregon 9, Central Washington 5. It's Bryce Bond back for his second inning of relief. Bond facing the 9-1-2 hitters in the Central Washington order. And we're actually going to see a pinch hitter into this game. This is Travis Helm in to hit for Madsen. He puts an 0-1 on the ground to third, collected by Alarcon. Throw over to first, going to be in time for the out. And we've got one away here in the top of the 8th inning. So that'll be the day for Jake Madsen at shortstop, as he is pinch hit for by Travis Helm here in the top of the 8th. So we'll see if Helm takes his spot defensively. Helm listed as a catcher on the Central Washington roster, so not sure exactly how this is going to work as far as the defensive shifts that are going to result from that pinch hit for a shortstop. Marcus Manzardo is now the batter. We're back to the top of the order. One out and nobody on. 0-1 pitch, blooped into left field. There's a little one-out single for Manzardo. He continues to have a solid day. That's his second hit. He's now 2 for 5, has reached 3 times, got aboard on an error. So the Wildcats getting a man on and just trying to chip away here. Got to get some runs in a hurry as they're down by 4 and only have 5 outs to work with. They've got 9 hits in the game, so the offense has been rolling. Just not had the pitching to back them up. Their bullpen is really having some trouble right now. 0-1 count on Bobby Varner. 2 runs scored and a homer in this game for the left-handed hitting right fielder. 0-1 pitch, misses outside, evens the count at 1-1. Bond, spin and a throw over to first, not going to be in time. Bryce Bond now in position for the win in this game. He came in relief in the 7th inning. Did have to face 6 batters in the 7th. Walked a man, hit a batter, and gave up an RBI single. As that one is flared down the left field line, but foul off the bat of Varner, so he'll come back to the plate in a 1-2 count. While Bond was on the mound, 3 runs did come in to score, but they're going to go on Murdoch's line for the ball game. Owen Murdoch is going to get a no decision in this game. So he got some offensive help in the bottom of the 7th. So he goes home with no decision. Right now, Bond in position for the W, and it's Aaron Robertson on the hook for the loss for Central Washington. Top of 8, 9-5 Wolves leading the Wildcats. 1-2. It's going to miss 2-2 now the count. Manzardo at first. He just singled. We have 1 out in the inning. Line score of this game right now, Central Washington with 5 runs on 9 hits and an error. Western Oregon, 9 runs, 12 hits, and 2 errors. Bond's 2-2, misses high and away, and the count is full. Bond, deep breath in his 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Gets Varner for Bond's second strikeout of the ball game. We have 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning.
Catcher number 12, Austin Oland.
That's going to bring up Austin Oland, who has had himself a heck of a day defensively. He's thrown out 2 base runners. We're trying to swipe a bag on him. And then at the plate, solo home run in the 1st, hit by a pitch in the 3rd, walked in the 5th. Wasn't retired until the 7th when he flew out to right field. So he is 1 for 2 in this game, but has reached 3 of 4 plate appearances. 1-0 offering. Bond goes fastball inside, just misses off of his kneecaps. 2-0. Manzardo patiently waiting at first base, trying to get something going for the Wildcats offensively here late in this ballgame as they deal with a 9-5 deficit to Western Oregon. Here's the 2-0. Low and outside. 3 balls and no strikes for Austin Oland. Bond trying to avoid issuing his second walk of this game. 3-0. Will just catch the outside part of the zone on the right-handed hitting Oland for a 3-1 count. Western Oregon pitching staff as a whole has walked 3 in this game. Lead was walked once. Oland walked once. The 3-1 here is going to be the second walk for Oland, however, as it misses, and that'll be on a base on ball. So 2 on with 1 out now, or make it 2 outs. Central Washington continue the inning and bring Ben Lead to the plate.
Number 20, Ben Lead.
So that's now 4 walks from the Western Oregon pitching staff. Oland at first, Manzardo now at second base, Ben Lead. Had a decent day so far, just been fairly quiet. 1 for 3 with a walk. And given that he's a .428 hitter, that is going to dip his average down a little bit. First pitch. Misses inside, 1-0. Western Oregon trying to clinch a spot playing on Saturday afternoon, as whoever wins this game will guarantee that they will continue playing tomorrow in the GNAC Championship. Soft roller out to second, collected by Valdez. He'll throw to first to retire Lead, and that's going to end. No, we're going to say it was dropped. So inning continues. Oh, it looked like a routine out to end the inning, but things will continue as Lead not put out at first base. And that's going to bring Andrew Sharp to the plate with the bases loaded. You know, it's one of those situations where it's just so routine, I was ready to move on. And Ben Lead actually gets himself aboard to continue the inning. So Andrew Sharp will come to the plate representing the tying run. Lead at first, Oland at second, Manzardo at third. And Bryce Bond going to get a visit on the mound.
First baseman number 15.
And we get back to action. So here's Andrew Sharp. Air reach for Ben Lead keeps this inning alive. First pitch for Sharp will miss for ball number 1. Bases loaded for Central Washington in the top of the 8th inning. 2 outs, however. Andrew Sharp with a hit in the game and a hit by pitch. He's 1 for 3. 1-0 offering. Swing and a miss will even it up at 1-1. This is a second at-bat for Sharp against Bond. 1-1, flares into left field, moving on it, sliding and making the catch is Kern Mitzel to not only save a couple runs, but end the inning. Great defensive play in left field by Kern Mitzel. Keeps it a scoreless top of the 8th and ends the threat. No runs score. There is just 1 hit, but the bases left loaded for Central Washington. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, the score remains 9-5, Western Oregon leading here on GNAC TV. We go into the bottom of the 8th inning. 9-5 our score. Western Oregon leading Central Washington as the Wolves get another chance to the plate to extend their 4-run advantage. Thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with us. We appreciate having you along for first game of a 3-game day here at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, Montana, as the number 2 seed Western Oregon Wolves take on the number 3 seed Central Washington Wildcats. Second game of the day, we're going to see Central take on Northwest Nazarene. That's an anticipated 3:30 p.m. first pitch. That's actually going to have to get bumped back. So we're going to need at least half an hour in between ball games. So probably looking at a little bit closer to 4 by the time we get going in that one. So that'll be the 1 seed versus the 3 seed. The batter to start the bottom of the 8th inning, this is Emiliano Alarcon for Western Oregon. He's in a 3-0 count, looking for his first hit of the game. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Takes a 3-0 down the chute for a called strike number 1 as he faces left-handed reliever Alex Brady. Brady just faced 2 batters in the 7th in his first inning relief. Struck out Stoltz looking and then gave up a single to Colin Irwin. 3-1, laced towards short. There to make the catch on the line and the first out of the inning. We got 1 down here in the bottom of the 8th.
The second baseman, number 1, Zach Valdez.
So the new shortstop into the ballgame for Central Washington is Kellen Berg, taking over there for Jake Madsen, who started the game. So he's able to catch the line out of Alarcon. Here's Zach Valdez now with 1 out and the base is empty. 1-0 pitch in from Brady, fouled off. Makes it a 1-1 count. One, that's going to miss high. 2 balls and 1 strike for Valdez, who just had his first career home run with Western Oregon in the 7th inning. And he's had a really nice offensive day. Just hitting .228 coming into the ballgame, but a double in the 2nd, solo home run in the 7th for him. 2-1 pitch. Fouls it back to the screen, makes it a 2-2 count. We've seen a combined 22 hits in this ballgame, and only a 2-hit differential between the 2 teams. Wolves out hitting the Wildcats 12-10. But a 4-run difference to go along with that. 2-2 fouled off by Valdez. Here's the big difference we've seen. Western Oregon has left 4 runners on base. Central Washington has left 12 aboard. They left the bases loaded in both the 7th and the 8th innings, and they left 2 on in the 1st and the 4th. It's just been a matter of taking advantage of runners on and in scoring position. 2-2 for Valdez is low, so it's now a full count. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, 9-5 the score of this ballgame. Western Oregon leading Central Washington. We're just 5 minutes shy of hitting the 3-hour mark in this one. 3-2 pitch. Valdez flies it into shallow right center field. Long run in for Varner. He is able to make the catch on a long run for the 2nd out of the inning. He originally read that as back, so his first couple of steps were back, and it was a late break to get in, but he was eventually able to get there for the 2nd out of the inning. Back to the top of the order. This will be the 5th trip through the lineup for Western Oregon. That begins with Curran Mitzel. And we get a left-on-lefty matchup here for Brady. First pitch in. He leaves it and misses outside for ball number 1. Got plenty of baseball left to be played here today. Final 2 games are going to feature the Northwest Nazarene Nighthawks, the number 1 seed in this tournament. They take on Central Washington roughly a half hour after the finish of this game. And then they will take on Western Oregon and what's supposed to be a scheduled 7 p.m. first pitch. We'll see how things shake out going forward. We're already a little bit behind schedule as this one is taking a little bit longer than anticipated. 1-1. Mitzel flies it into left field. lead, cannot see it. He backs up. He's on the warning track, and he couldn't see it for the first 2 seconds as it's in the air, but he does eventually track it down, makes the catch, and ends a 1-2-3 eighth inning. No runs, hits, or errors. Nobody left on base, and we're now to the top of the ninth. Western Oregon, 3 outs away from the win. 9-5, Wolves lead here on GNAC TV. Top of the ninth inning here in Billings. 9-5, Western Oregon leading Central Washington, and they're going to put Devin Bell on the hill for the top of 9 to try and finish off a win in the first game of the GNAC Championships. First pitch in for Max Bleddy. Soft roller out to short. The throw to first going to be in time. Great play from Justin Herzog out at short for a 1 pitch and 1 out here in the top of the ninth. Bleddy had a slow roller out to short. Herzog really had to charge that one, but got the throw over in time for the out. That's going to bring up Jake Felton, the center fielder. Going to get hit on first pitch of the at-bat as he takes one off the back of his helmet. So that'll be a base runner for the Wildcats and exactly what they need. This is Devin Bell on the bump for Western Oregon. Bell, a right-hander, replaces Bryce Bond, who went 2 innings of shutout relief, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts for Bond, who is now in position for his second win of the year. First pitch low and away to Brady Hinkle for ball number 1, 1-0 the count. Devin Bell, a sophomore out of La Grande, Oregon. A 6'4" right-hander. Kick and the 1-0. Goes off speed and gets a swing and a miss from Hinkle to even the count at 1-1. We are now at 3 hours on the button into this ball game. 1-1 pitch. Hinkle fouls it off on the right side, and the count runs a ball and 2 strikes. Felton at first, after being hit for the second time in this game. Felton's got aboard 3 times in his 5 plate appearances. He was walked once and hit by a pitch twice. 1-2, misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes now the count. (9-5) the Western Oregon lead. They need 2 outs to wrap this one up. Fastball, slow roller out towards third. This one's trouble. Alarcon has to go to first with it, and he's able to get it there in time. Beautiful play from Emiliano Alarcon to get Hinkle. That'll advance Felton out to second. And this is going to bring us up to the 9-hole hitter. It's going to be Kellen Berg.
Now batting number 23, Kellen Berg.
So Berg in to replace the pinch-hitting Travis Helm, who replaced Jake Madsen, who started this game at short. First pitch in for Berg, flown to right field. This should do it. Sitting underneath Randy Stoltz, he makes a catch, and that's going to wrap up the ball game. Western Oregon, a 9-5 win here in the first game of the GNAC Championships. Line score this one. For Central Washington, it was 5 runs on 10 hits and 1 error. For Western Oregon, 9 runs on 12 hits and 2 errors. So the Wolves have guaranteed themselves a spot on Saturday in the GNAC Championships. Just a matter, are they going to finish 2-0 and have the easy route, or will they go 1-1 and have a little bit tougher road to hoe going into Saturday? For Central Washington, they've got their backs up against the wall. If they lose their next game, they are done for the weekend, and their season will come to a conclusion. Winning pitcher in this one's Bryce Bond. He moves to 2-2 on this season. Aaron Robertson gets the loss. He drops to 0-2. We're going to have about a half-hour break in between these games. We're going to come back, and then it's going to be number 1 seed Northwest Nazarene versus number 3 seed Central Washington. Thanks for joining us here on Game 1 of the day. Plenty more GNAC baseball coming your way right after this on GNAC TV.